intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
All right, Star Trek Fleet Command fans, I want to try to give you a rundown here this morning on these new Armadas. Now, this is mid-level and above content, so if you're a low-level player, this is something to look forward to in your future. But with the new Krenim styled hostile / Armadas, they're not technically Armadas, they are entities, very similar to how the Chimeras are, so crewing will be very similar to that. They have a very unique style of how they run. Now, you can fight these with 2 ships as opposed to 1, and you can not only have to focus on specific crews, but more importantly, you need these exocomps active to really make it worth your while and worth going. We're going to go over the basics of how they work, and yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, as you can see, I've been doing a lot of testing throughout the day. Ignore some of the partials that I've done. Those were done to kind of like prove a point, mostly to myself. But while we do not have a complete list of rewards from the spreadsheet filled out yet, because this is brand new, it was very important to me to get this out to you because a lot of these early events are involving these Armadas. Regardless of whether you're heavy into the new system or not, you do need to do this. Now, one point I want to make to you, the new mission that just came out with this set does give you directives if you want to go and collect them. So that is part 6 of the mission. We'll have that information here on the screen. And as you can see, this is running the stuff. So let's talk about the basics. How do we run this? Why do we run this? When do we run this? Etc. I'm going to go ahead and recall these ships. The first thing that you need to do when it comes to this process is you want to go into your faction tree. Every day you can collect directives, the temporal incursion directives right there, as well as the DTI requisition form 13A, which is going to be what you need so that you can obtain these special exocomps. There is an anti-static and an anti-charge. I'm just going to go ahead and click one of each because I can for the purpose of this video. I'm going to go ahead and click both of them. What is the point of this? Well, you need these exocomps to be able to do a significant amount of damage and complete and defeat these new Armadas. This is key. Having those activated is very important. Once you do that, you're going to earn materials and rewards from these Armadas that allow you to access these 2 various boxes. The first one obviously is going to want the charged temporal wreckage. This one wants the static temporal wreckage, which is going to allow you to get these currencies down here, the temporal wreckage itself. So what do we do with those different wreckages? What does that get us? How does that benefit us so that we can get this coin and this coin? Well, that's going to allow us to do our various turn-ins. As you can see, the syndicate turn-in and a charged and a static payout. If you scroll down though, as you were to rep up, because keep in mind, you're going to want to rep up every day, which you can do with each type. So again, you can see me doing the rep up with this one right here. Both of them work. So having both particles allows you to rep up, but you're going to scroll down and see some very interesting things between favors and officers and artifacts. In fact, I'm really wanting the Janeway's pocket watch, but maybe you want to focus on unlocking Torah, meaning you're going to need a static coin, static currency for that. So very important to make sure you grab these exocomps and the directives every day so that you can get these, because without those, completing these and then getting the subsequent rewards are quite difficult. Let's talk crewing. Like I said, these are entities, so you would not crew them as you would a normal Armada. That means no Ciscos, no Miles, no Chakotay's, etc. Again, we'll put on a list on the screen of both some ideas as well as the list that we put out for the Chimeras of what you do not run. Now, some of the things below deck still work quite well. For example, I'll boot this up. You can see I currently have a crew of Janeway, Khan, and Harry Mudd. Yes, this does in fact work. And my officers below decks are Kim, Neelix, B'Elanna Torres. Because yes, those below deck abilities do in fact work, giving me hull breach, burning, and morale, which benefits my ship. My other run over here is actually Deja Torah, Toli, and Gwen DeMarco. Now again, not everybody's going to have these, so we will try to give you a list of officers that work, such as 5 of 11, and Khan, and Lorca if you don't have B'Elanna Torres. The ways that you can find to create damage are very important, and just like the Chimera LBs that come around, the SLB currently running at the time this video has come out does not count your ISO damage. So standard damage needs big oomps, criticals, and hull breach help provide that. So knowing these things, now we can go in and say, okay, well, I need to attack these types. We see I've got a anti-charge Krenim run currently active, so I'm going to go ahead and bring these back in real quick. And one thing I'm going to recommend you do is boost, boost, boost. Now, you're going to find different effectiveness of various boosts. The most effective ones are going to be like your max fortification from your Titan. Your Defiant's not really going to provide you much here. However, if you want to go ahead and slap it on, it necessarily won't hurt, but it's not really going to benefit you. So, for Defiant exists, but not super helpful. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so I don't miss that exocomp expiring. But max fortification can be beneficial. And then, of course, everybody's gotten used to using their Cerritos. Again, similar strategies to what you would use with Chimeras. These are simply two, ship armadas that are entities, even though they're not armadas. Very, very similar working. So I'm going to go, I actually don't know if I have time to run that one for this video. I do. So we'll run this one real quick. So again, you want to be able to create extra damage, and you really want to be able to do anything that you can with criticals and ISO, even though ISO won't help you when it comes to the overall leaderboards. Do want to note these have special abilities. Like, for example, this one right here, the charged one, is going to give more Apex Bearer each round. Keep in mind, these do have a 30-round limit. So if you can't beat it in 30 rounds, you will lose, and you will not get full rewards. Now, these statics have their own set, which is isolated damage cumulatively growing each round. Having high ISO defense, like a Pelia below decks, can be beneficial, but the big thing is, what's going to catch a lot of people is the round count. So you want to be able to destroy these in the round. And things that you can do to boost that, for example, Fleet Commander Lorca's Fist ability, Max Fortify, all those things will help out. However, important to note those key distinctions. Then, after you defeat these, you're going to receive rewards chests, which is going to allow you to do those turn-ins we were talking about. There's my charged temporal wreckage. And again, I would need static wreckage to do the other set. And we'll go over how much that is specifically when we do a faction store overview, but you're going to need that for your overall turn-ins. Now, the big key is, as you're going into these systems, these are where all of these are located. The best key I can give you is to try to punch up, but watch out. You don't really want to get stuck doing partials. You want to be able to do completes. And completes drop the chest, as you can see here. That is going to be where the main value is. So trickiness is figuring out the right crews, combining that with various strategies like boosting to try to take the biggest advantage you can in the biggest armadas you can. And I did try a 54 earlier and was able to partial it, but sadly unable to completely take it down. Now, the good news is these do maintain the same level they were at previously. So if you manage to damage them heavily, the good news is that means that you're probably going to be able to take them down with a 2-hit. The argument becomes, is it more beneficial to 2-hit a 54, or in my case, 2-hit a 54, or straight up a 52? Well, the answer is, when it comes to the loot box, a 52. But it depends on how high you can punch up. For those curious, are loot crews viable here? They're an option, but not something that I would necessarily recommend going after as a focus point. Now, I would also strongly encourage you to, get your inner rev and be a pirate. If you find one of these that has already been beaten down a little bit, don't feel bad for the guy or gal who left it. In fact, thank them for leaving you a perfectly good, perfectly doable armada that you can go take down yourself. Take advantage of the fact that maybe somebody forgot to do their exocomp, which I'm going to go ahead and turn back on because that expired. Again, that is a charged one, so right there. So I want to make sure that exocomp is active. And now that we have that active, we're going to go ahead and speed this up and hopefully. So we pop it down, we take it out. Do remember that you need to have that exocomp active. And as always, we recommend you dock before running out with that exo. So don't just try to throw it up there. Always dock first to make sure. I know some of the ones work outside of the dock, but let's not even bother with trying that. That's when we have discos to make sure things work and things happen. So hopefully this video is giving you the basics. The big key is making sure you have the exocomp and making sure that you're using the appropriate officers. And definitely recommend trying to spot ones that maybe haven't been fooled with too much, or maybe have been fooled with a little bit, so that you can get some easy takedowns. But let me know if you have any questions from this video, and if you need some help, drop it down below. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video, and I'm out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.